Welcome, everyone. My name is Greg Moore. I'm the Vice President of Fitness for Workout Anytime Franchising, and this is a presentation on Styku, which is a body scanner best practices. It's a repeat of a breakout session that was done at the Workout Anytime Franchising Conference, 2017 conference, Driven to Excellence. I'm sorry if you couldn't make it, but many people have requested this. So I'm repeating it so that everyone can take advantage and learn more about best practices with the Styku Scanner. And there are four of us involved in this presentation, but I'll be doing it myself. Raj Shireen is the CEO of Styku. Alicia Lewis is the National Sales Director, and Amanda is the Fitness Director at Work at Anytime Milton. And Milton is our corporate location, and she's a great resource as well. And I'm going to continue now. So the reason that we chose to use Styku is we took a look at a lot of the existing methods, and all of them had some problems. They were either invasive and or inaccurate and or not repeatable, meaning we got different results when we use them over again. They're numerical and hard to understand. They're one-dimensional, esoteric, meaning people didn't really relate to or understand things like impedance. It just doesn't make sense. Hard to market. No real insight for the member or appreciation, and just not a great experience for the member. So when we found Styku, we recognized, wow, this is a whole nother world. This is a short clip on the right there, just a still of what a scan can look like. That's one angle because it's a 360-degree measurement, and we can turn it and look at it. And it really gives the member the ability to see themselves in 360 degrees. What do I look like from behind to one side? It's a real wake-up call. It does open them up and set the table, so to speak, for a honest and productive conversation with our training staff, which is so essential to help the member reach their goals and to help sell them training. So here's an example of what we're talking about. So same person on the left and right, beginning scan, ending scan. This is Susan, and she won a 7-week challenge. Now, if you look at the scan, it's pretty obvious that she lost inches from her waist, hips, thighs, etc. So you can see that difference. However, here's a key point. On the scale, she only lost 2 pounds in 7 weeks because she gained muscle at the same time. This is a really big deal, guys, really big deal. So it's something that you want to really consider. And you've got to be able to graphically show this to a person, because if they feel like they're not making progress, guys, they are going to quit. So this is a perfect example, and this happens all the time in clubs using Styku. This is another example. So we can look at her from the side, and the green being the current scan, the red being the old scan, and also from the top down. And what these allow us to do is directly visually, in many different ways, show her incontrovertible evidence that her shape is changing. And believe me, this made her whole day. So it's a very big deal, and this is when it comes alive when we're comparing that first, second, and third scan. So if we look at some of the information that Styku provides, it's going to extract certain measurements. You can see the measurements. I could touch the screen if this was a Styku scan, and it's going to show me what any measurement at any point, any circumference measurement is on the body. I can also spin that 360 degrees because we get a touch screen with it. You'd notice here that we're looking at just her abdominal waist measure for trends, and you can see numerically what's happened to her waist. So there's many different ways to present the same information to make sure that the client understands and appreciates the changes that are happening with them. And we're not going to be able to do this because you can only do this live, but when we were at the conference, we actually did a demonstration of a scan. When you purchase a Styku scanner, they walk you through a step-by-step guide. If you go to Styku.com, you can see a video there of exactly what happens. It's very simple. A scan takes 40 seconds. It can be done by a trainer, by any staff member. The person can do it themselves. You can set the machine for self-scan. So they can do it alone in a room if they're timid and don't want to be seen by anyone during the scan. So a lot of different capabilities built in there. One of the keys is to getting the most from Styku is integrating it into your club. This is absolutely essential to get the most from your Styku scan. So we're going to go through, what does that involve? What do you have to do? The first thing is that you have to have a space to really get the most that's conducive to a scanning. This is an example of a scan room. It sends a message the minute the member walks into a space like this. And let's take a look at some others that are within workout anytime. So this is a picture from one of Blake Odom's clubs in Florida in the Jacksonville area. And you can see he's created a scan room. He's got a window to see into that room because this room itself is a marketing piece. He's got a glass door as well, so there's two ways to see in. He's got great relevant poster up on the wall, the anatomy poster. This office looks professional. It sends a message. There's a flat screen up on the wall, so it's large, so when you're doing the scan and showing it to them, they can really see it. Guys, you gotta have that. Notice the stand for the laptop. This looks 100% professional, almost medical grade. You also need to use fat and muscle replicas. They're physical replicas that I'm going to show you a picture of. And in our PT best practices, I go over exactly how to use them. You put them in the member's hands before a scan to make sure that they have a complete appreciation and understanding of the importance of the difference between fat and muscle. This is another picture of a scan room in one of Blake Odom's clubs, right? So you could, again, appreciate the difference. Those are the exact fat and muscle replicas, right? So notice he said there, scales only measure weight loss, fat loss is measured in inches. So the client can see, you can put it in their hand, feel they weigh the same, see that fat takes up much more space than muscle, feel that fat and muscle feel very different, begin to understand why it's so important and why we're focusing on body composition, because they need to understand that. And then they begin to understand that muscle is not a bad thing and that they can in fact look smaller even though they have put muscle on. The example we use, if we put them in the member's hands, we say, which one is bigger? They're going to tell you right away. Well, the fat is. And you say, how much bigger? They're going to say, a lot, 2 times bigger, 3 times bigger. Then you're going to say, how does the fat feel compared to the muscle? Well, it's jiggly, it's squishy. How does the muscle feel? It's firm. Then you're going to ask a question. So if we work together and you lost 5 pounds of fat and at the same time gained 5 pounds of muscle, what would happen to your weight on the scale? And the answer should be and will be, well, nothing would happen to my weight on the scale. And you go, that's correct. Your weight would not have changed, but would you have changed? Yes. And would you be bigger or smaller? Well, actually, you'd probably be smaller because why? Because muscle takes up less space than fat and it's smaller. Would you be firmer? Yes, because you'd have less fat and more muscle. So now the client, we know that the client appreciates those differences, and then we can ask the final question, which is, at rest, while we're sitting in a chair, we're laying in bed, we're burning calories. This is called our resting metabolic rate. And the important thing to understand is that different tissue burns different level of calories. So what do you think? Does that 5 pounds of fat while we're sitting here burn more energy, or does the muscle? And they're going to say muscle. And you're going to say, that's exactly correct. So I think you can see why lifting weights and doing resistance training is so important in reaching your goals of actually being toned and shapely. And it's not going to make you large. In fact, just the opposite. And here's a picture again of those two fat and muscle replicas. And in this presentation in the PDF you'll get, there is a link to where you can purchase these exact models. These are the ones you need to purchase. So how do you market Styku in your club? Well, you get a marketing kit. Whenever you buy a Styku Scanner, you get a marketing kit. There's a step-by-step marketing guide on Fran Connect in the Styku section. There's a pop-up banner included, right? So it pops up. It's a beautiful banner. There's 8.5 by 11-inch flyer. There's social media imagery, so it's done. You don't have to do it. There's emails set and ready to go. Lee Dolphin is ready to send them out to launch the program, and also include mention of Styku and a complimentary body scan in your in your automatic drip campaigns for members and guests to your clubs. There's also email instructions for constant contact or data track for the few clubs out there that do not use Lead Dolphin for their email. This is an example again of what a flyer is going to look like. Some of the imagery that you're going to see in there that's available for social media. Here's another one that's available for social media and email posting. So how do you fit Styku into membership and your PT options? First of all, Styku and membership. It starts at the front door, guys. Styku needs to be included on all tours. We need to be talking about it. Every new member should receive a complimentary Styku scan. It's an opportunity to educate the member, connect them with the training staff, and begin to help them create a plan to be successful in reaching their goal. All premium members should receive a complimentary monthly success session that also includes a Styku scan. Guys, this is a big value. If you're not including this, you're crazy. You can sign up a lot more premiums through mentioning and selling this process and selling the value of a scan to track their progress, allow them and us to be held accountable for them making the kind of results they want and being able to adjust their program based on how their scans are coming out. So complimentary Styku scan should be included in every single PT and every single group training option. It adds value to that process. You need to get permission, but then you need to post the effective before and after scans in your club and on social media. Guys, this is the best testimonial fodder you have ever seen. Use it. You need to include a Styku scan priced at $50 per scan or higher on all PT program and price presentation sheets to establish the value of the scan. Now, you're not going to be selling an individual scan, but you want them to see a value. And believe me, there are plenty of locations that do charge for this, such as offices for plastic surgeons and other folks. So this does have value, but that's not the way we obtain the value. But we want to see them to see that there is a cost and a value to a scan. And that's how we ensure they do. Staff training and education. All Workout Anytime locations receive an instructional webinar with Styku upon receipt of the product, and they literally walk you step by step through setup and use of the product, and they do fantastic, and they will do this over and over again. So if you have a new staff member, all you have to do is reach out to them. They will take care of training them. You don't have to do anything, okay? You definitely, though, need to go to Fran Connect. You need to download the Styku best practices, the marketing guide, etc. And you need to have a marketing plan and get that marketing up and out. The next two bullets are huge. Guys, everybody's got to go through a scan with presentation. You're not going to understand, appreciate, or be able to sell the value of this if you have not experienced it yourself. Get your training staff to do that with every single person on your staff. All trainers, this is really important, need to do multiple scans and present in front of the owner or the manager or the fitness director so that you know that they understand how to use the software. There are tabs built into the scanning software. You touch them and there's a step-by-step presentation that leads you through to a PT sale. It is very simple, but you've got to make sure your staff practices it and knows how to execute it. And as I said and promised you, here are some resources for Styku. So in the fat and muscle replica there, that is where you get the exact replicas. I believe they're $197. So that is well worth it. It's a must-have. You must also get a flat screen for your wall and set up that office properly. Raj Serene, he is the CEO of Styku. He loves to hear from any of our customers. Feel free to reach out to him. Feel free to reach out to Alicia Lewis, who is the National Sales Director for Styku. Myself, that's my email anytime. Please reach out to me. And last but not least is Amanda Quinlan, who is our fitness director at our Milton location, which is a corporate club. She has extensive experience, and if you want to talk to someone in the trenches that is using this product with members successfully every single day, she is a great person to talk to. I hope you've enjoyed this short presentation of best practices. If you have any questions or concerns, do not hesitate to reach out to me directly by email. My direct dial is 302-528-1660. That's my cell phone. Feel free to text or call me anytime. If I don't pick right up, I will get back to you. Until next time, have a great day. Work at any time.